And just for everyone's...
and just for everyone's...
and just for...
Sorry, man. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the A3U Review.
In this episode, it's all about the reboots. And when I say reboots, I mean I'm going to be talking about the new rebooted Machine Robo line.
Yep, and that's not the only reboot we're going to talk about because Takara has just released the Diabattles version 2, which is the reboot of the Diabattles from version 1.
Diaclone.
That's the box right there. Anyways, my name's Alex.
I'm Boris.
And you're watching
the A3U Review.
So Boris, we have some things that are not exactly Transformers. We're going to step away from that a little bit for today.
Yeah, technically it's still in that era. Everybody remembers.
Yeah. And they do transform.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, everybody remembers, at least in North America, the GoBot line. Many of you guys might know as well that GoBots actually came from an older line called Machine Robo. Back in 1982, Bandai, or actually a subsidiary of Bandai, Poppy or Poppy or whatever, made a line called Machine Robo. Consequently, once Bandai started distributing it, it also made it to some European countries and then ended up being exported to North America as the GoBots. Not the whole entire line, but some of the main more popular figures got exported, and they soon became what we know as the GoBot universe, like Psykill and Leader One, and all those guys. And a lot of people call it the ghetto version, the like poor man's Transformers. But I actually really like the GoBots. I don't know about you.
I had GoBots.
Did you like them?
I played with them. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I watched both cartoons. I played with both toys, and I like Transformers more, but I still had a lot of fun with GoBots.
Yeah, I agree. I think back then it was a little harder to appreciate them because the Transformers were around.
The Transformers just looked cooler.
Yeah, exactly. They were cooler, they were larger.
Yeah.
The actual characters, I just had a more of an affinity with the universe with Transformers.
Yeah.
But recently, Action Toys has officially licensed and rebooted the Machine Robo series, which actually makes me really excited now. Of course, several, like 20 some odd years later, 30 years later. But I wanted to kind of do kind of a spotlight on what the old Machine Robo was like compared to what these new ones are like. And the new ones are awesome. I mean,
they look pretty cool. Yeah, I already like the packaging on them.
Yeah, the packaging is pretty awesome. The articulation's great. I mainly want to highlight these because there's actually people that come to my store and they see these versions.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, it's super awesome. They're detailed." Wow, I remember like having these, in my collection, and it's funny. You lose the sense of scale. You lose the fact that these are actually not as small, and the articulation is not as simple as it used to be.
Yeah.
But when people see that,
they recognize it. It rings a bell.
Yeah, it rings a bell. It's just kind of like the Masterpiece series.
Yes.
People come in, and I don't know about you, Alex, but
people always say, I had that.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I had that exact one when I was a kid.
They'll see the Masterpiece version, and they'll be like, all of a sudden they feel like they've had it, and it's because the Masterpiece series has really stuck so loyal to the old G1 Transformer series, while still improving the articulation, which is kind of subtle to those who aren't in the collecting industry.
Yeah.
Obviously, for collectors, we understand that it is actually quite a big difference.
Yeah.
So Machine Robo is, no different. Like, think about taking the GoBots and making kind of like this masterpiece and scaling it up a little bit, giving it more detail, and creating kind of like a masterpiece series of the Machine Robo line. So the original ones came in these actually really tiny boxes, and I'm fortunate enough to have a friend that was nice enough to donate these just for the show. I don't get to keep them, so you know I'm gonna be very careful with them. But you know, essentially, they came in these little tiny boxes, really super cool, and even the original ones never had an actual name. The very first ones on these boxes, they were Mr. 25, Mr. this. I believe Bandai, after the first run of these came out, they did have names. So this was actually called Eagle Robo.
Okay.
By Bandai, which they echoed that in the new series.
Yes.
Eagle Robo. So I'm kind of highlighting this. These are the only 3 that are out right now for the reboot. But I just happen to have Leader 1 or Eagle Robo of the old to compare with Eagle Robo of the new. And right away you can see like packaging, obviously.
Like, you got like much styrofoam tray. It's so retro.
It's so retro. This little like book that comes with it, which is like, man, this is in really good condition. I can't believe it. It's really nice, actually. It's got all this old artwork, just amazing. And like, look how even the plastic's so pristine, or the styrofoam is so pristine. Hey, Alex, it's like,
wow.
Dude, it's like white. Still, I think that's pretty impressive. So, you know, once you pop him out, he's like very good likeness to the old series from the new, with some enhancements. One thing I wanted to point out, the old Machine Robo had diecast in it, like all the GoBots as well. And the new line is no different. They actually worked in the diecast, so it has that same kind of feel to it still. It's not all plastic, and then the diecast is in all the right places, so it can still stay highly articulate. You can pose it. It's really well balanced. And then each one of these come with a stand. Every single one comes with this awesome, cool stand. So, I mean, you can display it with the stand or without, obviously, like I'm showing here. But in Leader 1's case, it's kind of nice to have them in plane mode once in a while to kind of show it off flying like this, right?
That looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks really great. So this is a kind of a nice touch to get all of this in like one little package. It's really great. And then like the missile detail, which you didn't have on the old school ones here. What did you think when you saw the reboot?
Well, looking at the Eagle Robo, I'm impressed. I mean, they took something so vintage looking, and they essentially they made masterpiece GoBots. Right? That's what they are. I mean, you have the nice stand, you have all this extra detail. I mean, it looks really nice. It's wonderful. I love it.
And just for everyone else's knowledge, these are actually official reboots, so they've licensed everything from Bandai to produce this Machine Robo series. So it is literally the Machine Robo reboot. Right. So
that's why they can call it or label it Machine Robo right on the box.
That's right. So it's really nice to kind of see someone actually step up and reboot this license. So let's just take a second, Alex, and like get these guys into robot form.
Sure.
Just so I can show a little bit of the evolution of the articulation and the transformation.
Let's do it. So now they are in their robot modes, and you can see quite a significant evolution from the original to the reboot.
Yeah, definitely. So again, you know, it's like taking the GoBots and making it masterpiece, basically. I mean, the old Machine Robo, very limited articulation, pretty much like side to side articulation, and then just a front swivel. There was no like real ball joint action happening back then. The legs, they don't articulate whatsoever. They're just straight up like
they just stand.
Yeah, they stand really well balanced because you can't really pose it. And then as you can see, this guy here, I mean, just some serious points of articulation here.
Oh yes.
Like the knee joints you got going on here, the thigh ball joint up here. Then you even have a thigh swivel.
Yeah, lots of posability there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then the ball joints in the feet, of course. Arms, all articulated. Even the waist just swivels. Head is also on a ball joint.
Yeah.
And then there's also some movement in the neck. So you can kind of do a lot with the posability of the head sculpt.
Yeah.
And then the wrists are also on ball joints, so that's kind of nice too. That offers a lot of movement there.
Yeah.
And then of course swiveling there. Just amazing articulation for the evolution of this figure. And yeah, of course paint scheme too.
Yeah.
They've taken a full advantage of modern technology for painting.
Yeah.
And plastic coloring. Just all in all, I think it's an excellent reboot. What do you think, Alex?
I think that if you are a Machine Robo fan, a GoBot fan, this is a must-have. These are masterpiece GoBot figures, and Action Toys has done an excellent job in bringing a rebooted version. They've totally nailed it.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, honestly, even if you're a Transformers fan,
yeah,
and you never cared about the GoBots back then, pick one of these guys up and you'll be hooked.
Oh yes.
All of them have just amazingly clever transformations and great articulation. They will fit into your robot collection really, really nicely. And it being an official line too, it's kind of nice. It's having like all of these masterpiece vintage kind of series of robots. So yeah, there you have it. Machine Robo 2016 versus Machine Robo 1982.
There you go. So what we have right in front of us is the Takara Diabattles version 2 from the Diaclone World Series. Now it is version 2 because this is the reboot of the original Diabattles, which is actually a toy that I had as a kid. And the original was actually full of die-cast parts, but once I saw this, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And the original just doesn't have all this articulation and all this coolness, but it was still a very, very fun toy at the time. But now here's the reboot, and it's quite an improvement.
Very cool reboot because it does definitely pay homage to the toy that you're talking about.
Yep.
It kind of comes apart, forms into 3 main vehicles, but it doesn't kind of stop there this time. It actually has so many modes. All of this comes apart, like his legs pull off, the arms kind of come off, and they're used to form other vehicles. And of course, the old Diaclone series was, unlike Transformers, which is, you know, what a lot of the Diaclone series became in the Microman, Transformers kind of have a character of their own, which, not to say that these guys didn't, but these are actually based on these little Micromen that like...
Yes, Micromen.
Yeah, and the drivers, right? That sat in the little cockpits and they kind of like made these mechs work, right? So this is like, they controlled the mechs, and the mechs didn't really have a character of their own, which isn't a new theme in Japanese anime, especially the golden age of mecha anime. Like Gundam, for example, is very much a human story. They controlled the bots, not, you know, the bots didn't have like a life of their own. So this is, they kind of carry on this tradition. As you can see, it comes with a lot of these, it comes with 4 actually of these micro drivers. Super detailed too.
I'm pretty surprised. A lot of like texture on them.
And lots of articulation, like the elbows actually like bend and stuff. Like the knees bend.
Holy cow!
There's like mini ball joints on the thighs.
That's impressive.
Yeah, they can actually do some really cool poses. And then the robot itself actually has huge amount of detail.
It's such a good looking robot.
It really is. Now a lot of people have complained it's a little bit smaller than they expected it to be, but you know,
Even at this size, it still looks good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's actually not that tiny.
Yeah.
Right? It's larger than a deluxe figure.
Yeah.
Taller than a lot of Voyager figures. But what it makes up for that it lacks in size is like superior detail.
Yeah, plenty of detail
to anything its size.
Yeah.
And not only that, like we're talking like high quality paint job, you know, all of these accents done really, 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 really well. Even down to the little bike, the speeder bike here.
Yeah.
It actually has rolling wheels. That's kind of the draw of this version.
Yeah.
Right? And then also the playability, like I mentioned, there's so many.
Oh, there's so much you can do with it.
Swap out all these parts, create other little vehicles. It's just amazing. And then he's got this cool little Gerwalk
Oh yeah.
mode.
which actually the original didn't have. The original actually split into 3 parts, and that was it. This, if you look at the back of the box, it shows you all the options you can do, and it's a lot. It's definitely a huge, I won't say improvement, but definitely an upgrade over the original.
Yeah, and then it's got like this cool little
Chest cockpit?
Yeah, you saw this earlier. It's like little
Oh, that is cool.
motorized
parts.
action.
That's
Wonky,
actually
but
pretty cool because
still
a lot of
pretty
the old school robot toys, the Japanese robot toys, did have some of them did have action like that, motorized action.
Yeah, so it's totally a nod to that kind of stuff. The articulation is really good, as you see. Nice. And the ratcheting, it feels just so high quality.
You know what it reminds me of? Masterpiece quality.
Yeah, it's just...
I mean, it is from Takara after all.
But the ratcheting is even, for me, is even more higher quality.
Yeah.
It sounds nice, it feels good, it's like not too tight, but you know, just tight enough that you're not gonna have any loose poses with the legs, and then it just sounds good. Like,
oh yeah, you know you have a solid
really nice
toy right
smooth
there.
ratcheting, just unreal how well it's done. So what a great a reboot of this series.
Yep.
Now we've also looked at the Trianix.
Yes.
From Fans Project. I believe that's on pre-order at FP Core right now. But you'll notice that with that series, the Warbot series, it's typically a little bit like bulkier. So I've actually been asked a lot, like, how does that stack up to the Diabattles? And then also, a lot of people didn't even know where Trianix's origin was from in the first place. So I'm just going to bring them out here. We happen to have the sample still. So you can see Trianix is, right off the bat, quite a bit bulkier.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be, you know, straight from the fact that it's from part of the Warbot series, which is supposed to be like these huge, bulkier looking style robots.
Yeah.
This is actually based off of the original Diaclone.
Yes.
Which this is based off of as well. Now, this follows a lot of the cues of the old first version of the Diaclone.
It does.
Or Diabattles, because of the chrome, the bulkiness. And this is as simple as the original, where it breaks into the 3 vehicles.
Yeah.
But of course, it has a whole bunch of articulation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's ultra articulated, just like this guy is here. Some really good ratcheting points when you get into the thighs here and the knees. A little bit tighter, not as smooth, I would say, as the Diabattles. The Diabattles definitely feels very refined. Yeah. But the detailing on this is still really nice. Oh yeah. And it's just a different kind of feel for this figure. Yeah. The cores, of course, is the gimmicks that is the upgrade for the Trianix, where each of the cores come out and they interact. So instead of Microman, you have these cores that drive the drivers this time. So the cores actually become part of the bot, whereas this is very much a human to mecha relationship for the Diabattles. So you know, quite different actually. And if people are wondering about the scale, Trianix definitely makes you feel like you're getting a little bit more value because of the size. But like I said, where Diabattles loses in size, it beats the crap out of Trianix in terms of value for playability and accessories.
And also detail.
Yeah, just overall detail. It's really, really tough to beat the Diabattles.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about the Diabattles. But, you know, Trianix, at its price point, honestly, it's quite a bit less. So for this much robot for the price point, Trianix is also a very good figure. Very, very tough decision for me. To be really honest.
It's going to be a tough one because this looks really good. This one has a lot of nostalgic value too. But if you're looking for something that'll give you lots of play time and just, you know, so many options, you're going to be having a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of our look and talk about the Diabattles and also the comparison between that and the Trianix. And now everyone knows, you know, concretely where Trianix's spirit comes from.
And that's our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed it.
And yeah, stay tuned for our next episodes because convention season is just around the corner. We got TFCon happening, whatnot. So you never know what might happen, what surprises around the corner. So you better stay tuned to our channel because we usually show off a lot of cool stuff.
And today in this episode, we talked a lot about reboots, a lot of really nostalgic robots that some of you guys might have played with before. Why don't you let us know in the comment section below what would you like to see rebooted? I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there who played with these really, you know, fun robot toys back in the day. So a lot of that stuff could be rebooted. Let us know in the comment section below what you would like to see. Anyways, as always, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, Ages3and Up, and also follow us on Twitter at Ages3and Up. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Peace.
Busted.
Okay.
You hate me today, Alex.
Sorry.
This is... We're not even going to compare anything anymore. We're just going to sneeze.
We're going to sneeze our way through
all
the review.
episode.
Okay.
Like the whole time. We're comparing sneezes. Bless you.